Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I am Patrick. This is Storytelling Imperfectly, and welcome back to the channel. But if you're new to the channel, I am Patrick. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you like what you see. I got a strange missing persons case for you today. I'm not saying this one has anything to do with anything paranormal, but I'm not saying it doesn't. Regardless, sit back, relax. It's story time, and let's see if we can't figure out what happened to Nita Mary Mayo. On August 8th, 2005, Nita Mayo, a 64-year-old mother to a daughter named Tracy, decided to do what her sister Cindy said she loved to do most, which was get into her 1997 silver Mercury Sable and go out and explore the world. She loved going to new places, Nita did. And seeing things, taking pictures of them on her day off was a way for her to relax, which was super important for Nita because she had a very stressful job. She was a nurse and she worked at Mount Grant General Hospital in Hawthorne, California, which is also where she lived. Now, this particular day on August the 8th, Nita decided to go out to Sonora, which is about 2.5 hours west of Hawthorne. She jumped in her car that morning and by all reports headed west on Highway 108. Now, along this trip that she went down Highway 108, she stopped at a place called the Strawberry Store. There, according to her financial report, she purchased some postcards and a magnet that was in the shape of Sasquatch. It really doesn't matter what she purchased, but she was seen there, and her financial statements from her bank show that she was, in fact, there at the Strawberry Store right off Highway 108. Later that day, around 2 o'clock, reports state that they know that Nita stopped at the Donnell Vista Point overlook in the Stanislaus National Forest. It's a beautiful place. If you guys ever are out that way and you have a chance to go there and check it out, please do. It's a beautiful wilderness. Lots of folks go there for that exact reason. There's even wedding photography, and people go to pose there with their loved ones and all that good stuff. It's a beautiful place. So it's not surprising that Nita stopped there. What happened, though, at this point in time is anyone's guess. Nita never left there, by her vehicle anyway. In fact, that day, it was actually found by a national park worker, but he just assumed that either somebody had gone hiking or, it was a visitor. So he didn't report anything. It wasn't until later that night when Nita's family actually reported her missing and not returned from her outing that the guy the national park worker who had found Nita's car realized what it was, and so he reported it to the sheriff's office. Nita's car was locked when the sheriffs got there, but it did have a keypad on the side. They spoke with her relatives and whatnot, and then eventually managed to, of course, gain entry inside the vehicle. Once inside the vehicle, they found Nita's car keys, which were locked inside the car. They found her purse. They also found her cell phone. What the family members stated to the police was most certainly missing from all of Nita's possessions were her camera and her prescription glasses. According to her family, Nita obviously needed her glasses to see. They were prescription. And that if she took her camera with her, it was because she was at this overlook and she did what she always did on these outings, which was take pictures of the places that she went. The strange thing about this is not that her keys were locked in the car, but maybe that her cell phone was in there with her purse. I mean, perhaps she got out of the car to just take a couple of pictures and then plan to get right back in her car. But then again, why would you leave your keys in your car? However, because there was a keypad on the door, she could gain entry into her vehicle without her keys. So again, it's not strange that her keys were left inside. But at the same time, if your final destination of your outing is not Donnell Point Vista, then and she was just stepping out of her vehicle to take a couple of pictures, it doesn't make sense to me why she would leave the keys in the vehicle. You know, it makes sense why you would leave your cell phone or maybe leave your purse behind because you're just stepping out of your vehicle. But for me, it's almost instinct to put my keys in my hand, not to leave them in my vehicle, even if I could gain entry through key code, or keypad access. Anyway, nonetheless, a massive search was kicked off for Nita at this point in time. Well over 100 people came in to look. Ground SAR, they had helicopters, they put jeeps, dirt bikes, they brought in dog teams. I mean, you name it. They were there looking for Nita. They even rappelled down the cliff sides of Donnell Vista Point and found nothing, because the theory was that she had gotten too close to the edge or that she had fallen off, something along those lines. But no such luck. Even the canine units that were brought in never picked up her scent other than right by her vehicle. Now, some folks had speculated that maybe she was abducted, but this was broad daylight, guys. Numerous people had been through there. This is right off the highway. It is busy, and numerous folks would have seen an abduction take place. Even if the abductor was super fast and efficient at abducting people. What if it was a serial killer or a serial abductor? People would have seen it. There would have been somebody that noticed it. Now, there are people of interest in this case. One person in particular that authorities are still looking for is a lady by the name of Jewel Janine Rice. I'll put a picture of her up. The police state that she is not a person or a suspect into Nita's disappearance. However, she is a person of interest. Earlier and around that same time that Nita would have been at Donnell Vista Point, Jewel was there as well, apparently with having car trouble. Her vehicle was having car trouble, and that she was walking around asking people for help with her vehicle. Now, whether Nita and her spoke, I don't know. I can't find any reports that say that they did. However, that the fact that the police are looking for Jewel Rice would suggest that they may have more information about those two's, ladies' interaction. The strange thing about this, though, is that it is known that Jewel's car never got running because it was there as well, and she left without her vehicle, according to witnesses. But then why would Jewel be a person of interest if she was seen leaving without Nita? I don't know. Also, another thing that really is strange to me is that Jewel Rice has never been found. Her whereabouts are also currently unknown. Now, guys, understand, this happened back in 2005, so that's 16 years ago. And these two ladies have never been found. Super strange if you ask me. Something happened up at Donnell Point Vista that day, and these aren't the only two people to ever go missing from that area by any stretch of the imagination. Now, again, I'm not saying that something paranormal took place, but for two people on the same day to be missing still today in 2021, it's super freaking strange. Also, something else that should be known about this case is that the family have never give up looking for her. Her daughter Tracy is still looking for her mom Nita to this day. Her sister Cindy, Nita's sister Cindy, is also still asking for help in finding her sister. Both ladies have been told that most likely she had an accident or went hiking and got lost at Donnell Vista Point. But both of them reject this idea. They said there's no way that their mom and sister walked off from her vehicle and got lost, hiking. She just wouldn't be that careless, according to them. And the fact that the canine units that they brought in and all the searchers that were on the ground and the helicopters and the jeeps and the dirt bikes couldn't find a single shred of evidence or trace or scent of Nita except by her vehicle also lends credence to the fact that she didn't walk off from there and get lost or fall off the edge, because they searched that. They checked it numerous times. In fact, over the course of 2 years after her disappearance, people would still come to there and search for Nita, look for clues, bring in dogs. I mean, the whole shebang. And she's never been found. No trace of her. Her daughter Tracy has said one thing of interest to the police is that they mentioned that a former patient of Nita had shown up at Tracy's house and actually said to her the day her mother had went missing is that, oh, I heard your mom was missing, but they found her. So glad to hear that. And kind of walked off. And Tracy was like, okay, and then she tried to find her mom and this, that, and the other. This actually led to the search, or that Tracy was even aware that her mom had gone missing. And she also thought it was super strange, not only would this guy show up and just say this randomly, but the fact is that this guy said this to her before Tracy even knew that her mom was lost or the search for Nita had even begun. Later on, police actually got in contact with this man. They polygraphed him. He failed his polygraph. No arrests were made, though. Nothing has been done with this man. So I don't know the particulars of all of that. All I know is what I've read in the news reports that I have found. I'll put some clippings up, and like I always do, of these reports that I find when it talks about these cases. But I think that is so weird that they have a person of interest that shows up at the daughter's house, tells him, I heard your mom went missing, but I'm glad they found her, kind of thing, before the daughter even knew that Nita had gone missing, much less a search had even begun for Nita. The fact that this guy failed a polygraph test, well, I mean, you can't have one without the other. When people pass polygraph tests, we go, oh, they're unreliable, especially if they're about Bigfoot or aliens or something like that. They're unreliable. But, polygraphs are unreliable. But this guy failed his polygraph, and we're really quick to jump and say, well, if he failed his polygraph, he must be guilty. Well, that's not necessarily the case either. I mean, people have often said that polygraphs can be failed by anybody if they're nervous or scared or whatever. I mean, if the police have hemmed you up for potential murder and or abduction, you might be a little nervous, even if you didn't do it. I don't know. I mean, these are the facts of the case. I am baffled by this one. The fact that Nita has never been found 16 years after the fact is mind-blowing to me. One last thing about this case that is super strange to me personally is that Tracy has stated that she actually went to confront the man who failed the polygraph test and who had approached her earlier about her mother's disappearance before he really should have known that she had disappeared. Upon seeing this man, she didn't know what she was going to say to him, but before she even had a chance to say anything to him, this was years after her mother disappeared, years after her mom had disappeared. And when she saw this man for the first time, he looked up at her and said, oh, hey, Tracy, how are you? He knew exactly who she was and asked a very simple question. Not how's your mom, or did they ever find her, or anything like that. He just asked how she was doing. That is creepy. To me, that is super creepy. All in all, guys, I don't really know what happened. I know this is kind of a short video. Again, not my full-length features as I've been doing, but I'm trying to keep them shorter these days. Regardless of the length, though, I wanted to hear what you have to say about the disappearance of Nita Mary Mayo. Leave me something in the comment section below. I always love hearing from you guys. My personal feeling to this one is that she was abducted, that something happened to her, most likely this former patient of hers, but who knows? It could have just been a random abduction. However, the fact that this Jewel lady, disappeared as well that day. I mean, were they both taken at the same time? And if so, how did one person manage to get two grown women into a vehicle and drive off without anybody seeing them? Super strange. I'd love to hear it, guys. Again, leave me something in the comment section below. But that's all I got for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please smash in that like button. Turn it blue for me. It really helps me out. It lets me know that you're enjoying the content, as well as lets YouTube know you're enjoying the content, which helps the channel out and is most appreciated by yours truly. Also, if you are new to the channel, you've been here this long, I surely hope you'll subscribe. Keep coming back and hanging out with me. But whether you're an old subscriber or a new subscriber, click the bell, guys. Get the notifications. That way you don't miss out on the next time I upload. And last but not least, share this video. Put it on Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, wherever you feel the need to. But regardless, know that it's appreciated by me because it is helping me grow, and I can't do it without you guys' help. But that's it for Patrick. I am out of here, and I will see you guys in the next video.